The evening at Lumiere, San Francisco's premier fine dining restaurant, paints a vivid tableau of elegance. The rhythm of leather shoes tapping polished oak floors blends with the delicate clink of crystal glasses, weaving a gentle melody. From a corner, the soulful strains of a violin glide through, casting a warm glow over the space, like an enchanting invitation. Amid the bustling servers, Emily Carter, a 25-year-old woman, moves between tables with grace, like an artist in performance. Her brown hair is neatly tied back, her black uniform accentuating her slender frame. Fatigue lingers in her eyes, but her smile remains radiant, as if nothing can shake her dedication. This is her third shift of the week, yet she serves with meticulous care, each motion executed with precision and professionalism. Emily carries the weight of family burdens. Her grandmother battles illness, and her younger brother needs funds for costly medical treatments. Every tip, no matter how small, chips away at the mounting bills. As she glides past the bar, a coworker whispers, "Table 10 needs more wine." Emily nods, swiftly redirecting toward the wine station, her heart beating a little faster. Table 10 means facing Benjamin Hayes, a tech millionaire famed for an AI app that revolutionized data analytics. But at Lumiere, he's more notorious for his exacting nature. Benjamin often returns perfectly crafted dishes, nitpicking every detail from the saltiness of an entree to the fold of a napkin. Today, he's hosting investment partners, and the air at Table 10 is taut, like a violin string poised to snap. Emily approaches, a bottle of Pinot Noir in hand, the chandelier's light glinting off the glass. Benjamin, in a tailored navy suit, waves her over, his arrogant tone cutting through his partner's conversation. "Where's the wine, miss?" Emily maintains her professional smile, hiding any trace of irritation, though pressure weighs on her shoulders. She tilts the bottle, pouring the wine with precision, the red liquid swirling like a painting. "My apologies for the delay, sir," she says, her voice gentle but clear. "Would you like to taste it first?" Benjamin swirls his glass, his cold gaze skimming over her, as if she's merely a fixture in this opulent space, unworthy of notice. He takes a sip, nods reluctantly, then says abruptly, his tone shifting, "You're good at this. I'm hosting a charity dinner next week. I need someone like you." He names a figure, 4 times Emily's nightly earnings at Lumiere. If Emily Carter's journey of facing challenges touches your heart, hit like, share, and subscribe to 30 Millionaire Stories to discover more inspiring tales of people finding light in adversity. Don't forget to leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Emily's heart skips a beat. That sum isn't just a generous tip. It's enough to cover her brother's hospital bills, enough to ease the financial burden keeping her awake at night. But she knows working for Benjamin Hayes is never easy. The charity gala unfolds at Benjamin Hayes' opulent Pacific Heights mansion in San Francisco, a modern architectural marvel of glass and white steel rising amid lush green gardens. Emily Carter stands before the grand iron gate, pulling her server's jacket tight against the evening chill, and the anxiety swelling within. Around her, other servers, hand-picked from the city's finest restaurants, whisper about the event's grandeur, about the powerful guests soon to arrive. The manager, a stern, middle-aged woman, gathers the team, her voice icy with warning. "Mr. Hayes' guests are San Francisco's elite. One mistake, and we're out of a job." Emily is assigned to the main salon, the heart of the gala, where every eye will focus. Inside, The mansion is a work of art. Crystal chandeliers hang from the ceiling, casting a shimmering glow, reflected on modern paintings adorning white walls. The marble floor gleams under the light, and the faint scent of orchids lingers in the air. But what stops Emily in her tracks is the Steinway Model D concert grand piano in the salon's corner. Its glossy ebony finish and flawless black and white keys mirror the one she played at music conservatory, before family burdens forced her to abandon her passion. She stands frozen, her gaze locked on the piano, until Benjamin appears, whiskey in hand, his cold voice slicing through her thoughts. "Don't even think about touching it," he says, his eyes sharp as a blade. "It's worth $500,000. We've hired a professional pianist." Emily nods, maintaining her professional smile, but her heart stings, reminded of a dream long buried. The gala begins, and Emily slips into the rhythm of service. She glides among guests in glittering gowns and tailored suits, balancing trays of wine and canapes, her smile never faltering. She moves with finesse, dodging trailing dresses and hurried handshakes, ensuring everything runs flawlessly. Overhearing snippets. She catches talk of cutting-edge tech, multi-million-dollar real estate deals, and generous charity pledges, a world far removed from her cramped apartment, where she sleeps on a fold-out chair to give her brother the only bed. Medical bills, her grandmother's illness, and her forsaken musical dreams feel like they belong to another universe, detached from Pacific Heights' radiant splendor. Everything runs smoothly, not a drop of wine spilled, not a tray of food delayed. Emily feels a flicker of relief, thinking she might navigate the evening without trouble. But then, Benjamin's phone rings, shattering the gala's ambiance. He pulls it out, his already stern face darkening. "Canceled? I paid in advance!" he roars, his voice echoing, drawing glances from nearby guests. He ends the call, slamming the phone onto the table, his eyes blazing with fury. The hired pianist has backed out at the last minute. Without music, the gala's atmosphere grows stifling, lacking the refined backdrop Benjamin expected to impress his partners and guests. Whispers ripple among the attendees, eyes darting, and Emily senses tension spreading through the main salon. Lumiere, with all its grandeur, now faces a moment of trial. Emily stands near the piano, a tray of canapes in hand, her gaze instinctively drifting to the black and white keys. She knows she's forbidden to touch it, but memories of her music conservatory days flood back. Hours of practice, notes that once spoke her heart's language. Benjamin, still grappling to regain control, paces near the head table, his glance passing over Emily, but not lingering. She takes a deep breath, maintaining her smile, but inside, a bold idea sparks. The payment Benjamin promised for tonight could transform her brother's life. But now, she faces a chance, or risk, far greater. The gala remains dazzling, yet without music. It's an unfinished painting, and Emily, though just a server, feels herself at a fateful crossroads. In the main salon of Benjamin Hayes's Pacific Heights mansion, the charity gala's atmosphere grows taut after the pianist's cancellation call. Benjamin, still clutching his whiskey, turns to Emily Carter, his gaze sharp as a blade. He points to the wine tray she holds, his voice laced with mockery. "You've been eyeing that piano all night," he says, his words ringing through the room's unnatural hush. "Think you can play it?" Dozens of eyes from the elite crowd, clad in glittering gowns and tailored suits, fix on Emily, like needles piercing her skin. Benjamin's smile carries a cruel edge, as if he's setting a trap, eager for her to fail, to make her a laughingstock before San Francisco's high society. The room falls silent, save for faint whispers among the guests. Some watch with curiosity, their eyes gleaming at the prospect of unexpected drama. Others, with more guarded expressions, seem to wince on her behalf, as if anticipating disaster. Emily's cheeks burn, her heart pounding in her chest. She means to decline, to retreat with her professional smile and resume serving. But before she can speak, Benjamin snatches the tray from her hands, his movement swift and decisive. He nudges her shoulder toward the Steinway Model D concert grand in the room's corner, his voice cutting like a command. "Play," he says, "unless you're scared." The crowd murmurs, whispers rippling like waves. Emily stands frozen, the crystal chandelier's light highlighting the simplicity of her black uniform against the surrounding opulence. She recalls her grandmother's words, raspy but strong. Pride must yield to need. She took this job for her family, for her brother's medical bills, for her grandmother battling illness. She's endured Benjamin's harsh complaints, grueling shifts, and the dismissive glances of patrons, all for the cost of medicine. But now, facing the judgmental stares of the elite, a spark ignites within her. She was once a promising pianist, dreaming of grand stages, before a car accident stole her parents and her musical aspirations, thrusting her into a life of duty. The piano, with its glossy ebony finish and flawless black and white keys, seems to call to her. It's been 10 years since she touched a key, but muscle memory lingers, tucked deep within her fingers. Emily steps forward, her feet moving as if drawn by an unseen force. Her hand trembles slightly as it brushes the piano's edge, the cool wood under her fingertips evoking memories of practice sessions at the music conservatory. She sits, instinctively adjusting the bench, the motion so familiar it surprises her. The crowd falls silent, waiting, some braced for disaster, others curious about what this server might do. Benjamin crosses his arms, a smirk curling his lips, his gaze suggesting she doesn't belong here, that she'll fail. Emily closes her eyes, drawing a deep breath, trying to shut out the stares and whispers. She recalls her mother's voice, gentle but firm, from long-ago practice sessions. "Play from your heart, and they'll listen." Those words, like a guiding light, lead her through fear. She opens her eyes, her fingers grazing the keys, feeling the smooth ivory. The room, with its glittering chandeliers and art-filled walls, fades away. Only she and the piano remain, like old friends reunited after years apart. Emily knows she has nothing left to lose. She's lost too much already. But she has her family, the notes that once defined her, and a chance, however small, to prove she's more than an invisible server. The Pacific Heights mansion, with its opulence and pressure, becomes an unexpected stage for Emily. She sits before the $500,000 piano, not to impress Benjamin or the crowd, but to reclaim herself. Her fingers hover over the keys, poised to play, even just one note, to tell the world and herself that she's still a pianist, that her dream, though buried, has never truly died. Emily Carter's fingers touch the keys of the Steinway Model D concert grand, the cool sensation under her fingertips awakening a dormant memory. She stands before the $500,000 piano in Benjamin Hayes's opulent Pacific Heights mansion, the gazes of San Francisco's elite fixed on her, anticipating failure. But Emily doesn't notice them. She closes her eyes, draws a deep breath, and chooses Chopin's Nocturne No. 20 in C-sharp minor, the piece her mother loved, the one that carried her through piano competitions as a promising young artist. The first note rings out, soft, tentative, like a cautious step on fragile water. The main salon, with its glittering crystal chandeliers and modern art, falls silent. A woman in a purple gown lowers her wine glass, her eyes curious rather than judgmental. Emily plays on, letting muscle memory guide her. It's been 10 years since she touched a piano, but her fingers rediscover the familiar melody, as if they never parted. The music swells, gentle like waves lapping ashore, each note a whisper from the past. She immerses herself in the sound, her body swaying slightly with the rhythm, as if she and the piano have become one. Memories flood back, vivid and painful, her mother humming Chopin by the fireplace, her father filming her recitals, her younger brother, still small, dozing by the piano in their living room. Tears silently stream down Emily's cheeks, but she doesn't stop. She lets emotion lead, letting the notes tell her story. The Steinway resonates, its deep tones sighing like a heart's lament, its high notes twinkling like stars in a night sky. Emily no longer sees the crowd's stares, no longer hears their whispers, no longer feels Benjamin's pressure. She sees only the music, feels only the keys beneath her fingers. Benjamin, who initially thrust her into this challenge to make her a spectacle, steps closer to the piano. The smirk on his lips has vanished, replaced by unmasked astonishment. He stands there, his whiskey glass tilting slightly, as if forgotten in his hand. The crowd, initially curious or skeptical, is gradually swept away by the music. An elderly man in the corner closes his eyes, his face softening, as if lost in a distant memory. A young woman in a green silk dress wipes a tear, hiding her emotion. The murmurs, buzzing at the gala's start, fall silent, yielding to Emily's music. She reaches the nocturne's climax, her fingers dancing across the keys, swift yet full of feeling. 10 years of pent-up emotion, the pain of losing her parents, the weight of family burdens, the buried dream of music pour through each note, like a river breaking a dam. Every key is a declaration that she's more than a server, that she was, and still is, an artist. As the final note fades, the room holds its breath, as if no one dares disrupt the sacred stillness. Emily opens her eyes, her breathing slightly quick, her fingers resting lightly on the keys. Then, like a wave, applause erupts, genuine and fervent. Guests rise, those in glittering gowns and tailored suits marveling, their eyes now filled with admiration. Some wipe tears, others smile, as if they've witnessed a miracle. Benjamin stands motionless, the whiskey glass forgotten in his hand, his gaze fixed on Emily, as if trying to comprehend what just happened. He doesn't clap, but his silence, this time, isn't mocking, it's acknowledgement. Emily sits at the piano, feeling both relieved and overwhelmed. She didn't play to impress Benjamin or the crowd. She played for herself, for her mother, for the dreams she thought were lost. But in that moment, she's conquered the room, turning judgmental stares into respect. The Pacific Heights mansion, with its opulence and pressure, has become an unexpected stage for her return. Under the chandelier's shimmering light, Emily Carter is no longer an invisible server. She's an artist. And the piano has let her tell her story, a story no one in this room will forget. Emily Carter rises from the piano bench in the main salon of Benjamin Hayes's mansion, her cheeks flushed, her breath still quick from performing Chopin's Nocturne No. 20 in C-sharp minor. The crystal chandelier's light highlights her simple black server's uniform, stark against the crowd in glittering gowns and tailored suits. She returns to reality, aware she's still a server at this charity gala. But the room's atmosphere has shifted. The crowd, once eyeing her with judgment or curiosity when Benjamin thrust her into the challenge, now gazes at her with reverence. Their looks no longer carry disdain. Instead, they brim with admiration, as if they've witnessed something far beyond their expectations. An elderly man, his warm Boston-accented voice resonant, approaches Emily, his eyes shining with emotion. "A stunning performance," he says, his tone sincere. "Where did you study?" Before Emily can respond, a woman in a sleek black evening gown interjects, her sharp gaze turning to Benjamin, standing a few steps away. "Did you know her talent? When you tried to humiliate her in front of us all?" she asks, her voice edged with reproach. Benjamin, usually confident and arrogant, falters, his eyes dropping to the marble floor, silent. The smirk that curled his lips when he pushed Emily toward the piano has vanished, replaced by an uncharacteristic quiet. The elderly man introduces himself as the director of the San Francisco Symphony, a prestigious organization Emily only dreamed of during her music studies. He looks at her, his gaze warm but earnest. "We're seeking someone to teach music to underprivileged children," he says. "The pay is modest, but you'd have access to our rehearsal rooms whenever you like." Emily freezes, her hand gripping the edge of her uniform, as if needing an anchor to believe this is real. "I haven't played in 10 years, she whispers, her voice trembling, as if afraid her talent no longer suffices for such an offer. He smiles, a smile of someone who knows music's worth. "Music doesn't abandon us, young lady," he says, his voice a reassurance that she can reclaim her path. Benjamin steps forward, interrupting the moment, his whiskey glass loosely held. His voice is hoarse, stripped of its usual arrogance. "I owe you an apology," he says, his eyes meeting Emily's, carrying genuine remorse for the first time. "I was cruel. I want to hear your story, your real story." Emily studies him, weighing his words, but sees a shift in his gaze, no longer the haughty man who sought to make her a spectacle, but someone ready to listen. She takes a deep breath, then speaks, her voice soft but clear. She studied at the Curtis Institute, one of the world's most prestigious music schools, dreaming of a career as a professional pianist. But a car accident took her parents, leaving her to care for her ailing grandmother and young brother. She abandoned her dream, working tirelessly to pay medical bills, the piano becoming a distant memory. Benjamin listens, the arrogance that once cloaked him melting away. He stands still, his gaze fixed on Emily, as if seeing her through a new lens. The woman in the black gown, introducing herself as a board member of the San Francisco Conservatory of Music, nods, her eyes full of admiration. "You could inspire our students," she says, her voice firm. "Your talent and story are what we need." Emily feels her heart race, as if doors she thought sealed are now opening. She never imagined a spontaneous moment at a charity gala would lead her back to music, to the person she once was. The room remains radiant, with crystal light and the hum of guests, but Emily no longer feels invisible. She stands amid the crowd, no longer just a server, but an artist who's reclaimed her voice. Benjamin, though silent, keeps watching her, his eyes holding a respect she's never seen before. Under the chandelier's shimmering glow, Emily knows tonight hasn't just changed how the crowd sees her. It's changed her. A turning point to face her past, her present, and a future where music might return. 3 months after the fateful charity gala at Benjamin Hayes's mansion, Emily Carter stands before a class at the Bayview Community Music Center in San Francisco. Children from struggling families surround her, their eyes a mix of curiosity and shyness. The small room, with peeling paint and worn wooden floors, isn't the grand stage she once dreamed of, but it pulses with a unique vitality. "Music is magic," Emily says, kneeling to meet the children's gaze, her voice warm yet compelling. "It can tell your story without a single word." A girl with a crooked ponytail grumbles that practicing piano is too hard, that it feels pointless. Emily smiles, settling before the aging piano, its keys yellowed by time. She plays a gentle melody, mimicking raindrops, each note like a soft patter. "This is your story," she says, looking directly at the girl. The children's eyes widen, captivated, as if uncovering a wondrous secret. That afternoon, Emily visits the San Francisco Conservatory of Music's rehearsal room, granted access through the symphony director's invitation. She practices Debussy's Clair de Lune, her fingers gliding over the keys with growing confidence, preparing for her first performance in 10 years. Benjamin, in a surprising move, has funded a scholarship program for young musicians, inspired by Emily's story. He's also worked with Lumiere's management, where she once served, to arrange a flexible schedule, allowing her to balance work and passion. Her brother, now healthier thanks to funded treatments, joins her at the rehearsal, bringing their grandmother. She sits, leaning on her cane, humming an old tune from Emily's childhood, her eyes gleaming with pride. A year later, Emily stands backstage at a community concert in a small but cozy auditorium. Her students, from children new to the piano to adults rediscovering their passion, perform with brilliance. The girl who once hated practicing now plays a short piece with confidence, a radiant smile on her lips. Emily watches from the wings, her heart swelling with emotion as her pupils shine. When her turn comes, she steps onto the stage, sits at the piano, and plays an original composition. The piece blends Chopin's melodies with short passages her students wrote, telling a story of overcoming hardship, of dreams reawakened. The music fills the auditorium, each note a declaration of resilience's power. As the final note resounds, the audience rises, applause thundering, prolonged, a tribute to what they've witnessed. After the performance, as the auditorium empties, Emily's grandmother approaches, leaning on her cane, her eyes sparkling. She hands Emily an old envelope, its paper yellowed by time. "Your mother wrote this when you were accepted to Curtis," she says, her voice raspy. "I wanted you to read it when you performed on a big stage." Emily opens the envelope, her fingers trembling as they trace her mother's familiar handwriting. The letter is brief. "Music will bring you home. Emily. Let it guide you." She looks up, seeing her grandmother, her brother, and Benjamin, standing among the audience, his gaze carrying deep respect. Emily smiles, tears glistening, realizing she didn't become the concert pianist she once dreamed of, but found a greater dream, passing her love of music to the next generation, offering hope to those who thought dreams were impossible. The auditorium dims, but the concert's light lingers in Emily's heart. She steps off the stage, clutching her mother's letter, feeling she's finally found home, not a place, but a purpose. Her students, from the girl with the crooked ponytail to adults reclaiming their passion, are proof that music can heal, connect, and transform lives. Under the soft glow of the lights, Emily knows her journey, though fraught with challenges, has led her exactly where she belongs. Leave a comment. If you believe a single moment can rekindle a forgotten passion, hit like, subscribe to 30 Millionaire Stories, and share who helped you rediscover your dream. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.